Tom, Mahomes, it's on. Years from now, when we're clutching to our flasks, glued to our wheelchairs in nursing homes, we'll be telling epic, drunken tales of this historic game. A game that features 43-year-old Tom Brady making his 10th Super Bowl appearance, going against his arch nemesis and heir apparent, Patrick "LaVon" Mahomes. Two men, seemingly so different. One, an experienced veteran with a supermodel wife to bang at home, and the other, a young, likable, upstart kid that sounds like Kermit the Frog. But on Sunday, they'll be oh so similar, because on Sunday, they're both fighting for the same dream, the Vince Lombardi Trophy. That dream becomes a reality next on DSE. Recorded from Radio Row in Tampa, Florida, this is Detroit Sports Extreme. Here now is the voice for Detroit Sports, Johnny Bakerstone. The big weekend has finally arrived, football fans, and although for the 55th consecutive year, your beloved Detroit Lions won't be around to participate in it, we're still here to steer you into Sunday's showdown between the Kansas City Chiefs and Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Later in the show, we'll take a look at some fun prop bets and, of course, make our pick against the spread. But let's stop beating our dicks around the palm trees and get right to business. Tale of the tape. Super Bowl 55 features a pair of offenses in the Chiefs and Bucs that finished 1-2 in passing yards per game during the regular season. Before we babble on the big game, let's briefly go over how each team got there. Kansas City Chiefs. I truly do not know how any team can coast to a 14-2 record during the regular season, but that's exactly what the Chiefs did. They seemingly played down to their competition, especially late in the season, but still almost always found a way to win. I think when you're as talented as the Arrowheads, it's just human nature. You can get complacent, and in some cases bored. Andy Reid chose to rest his starters in Week 17, and I think that was 100% the right call. Some people have the opinion of, if you sit out the last game of the season, you'll enter the playoffs rusty, but the team desperately needed the pause to heal up, especially Patrick Mahomes. Once the playoffs began, they hit the pedal to the metal, squeaking by a stingy Cleveland Browns squad in the divisional round, and trouncing the hottest team in the NFL, the Buffalo Bills, 38-24 in the AFC Championship game. Kansas City enters Super Bowl 55 as defending Super Bowl champions, and should they win, they will become the first team to win back-to-back titles since Tom Brady's New England Patriots back in 2003 and 2004. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Bucs entered this season with lofty expectations, and rightfully so, after signing Tom Brady to a 2-year, $50 million contract. Following a Week 1 loss at New Orleans, Tampa reeled off 7 of their next 8 games, and despite some midseason hiccups, finished 11-5 as the number 5 seed in the NFC playoffs. I thought they'd win around 10 games, so the 11 wins did not surprise me, but what followed certainly did. Not so much their wild card win in Washington, that was expected, but Tom and the Pirates went on the road and beat both Drew Brees and the Saints at the Superdome, and Aaron Rodgers and the Packers at Lambeau. Sunday will mark Tampa Bay's second Super Bowl appearance, with their other coming in 2003 when they thrashed the Raiders 48-21. Super Bowl 55 Breakdown. You can attempt to break it down a number of different ways, but when it's all said and done, Super Bowl 55 ultimately is centered around two men, Thomas Edward Patrick Brady Jr. and Patrick LaVon Mahomes. I'll touch on some other big game talking points, but let's first jabber about two of the best in the biz. Tom Brady. I'll start with Brady, who has cheated Father Time more times than Tiger Woods cheated on his ex-wife at Waffle House. Guys, what this man is doing simply blows me away, and I'll admit, during my final year at 1660 The Wave, I was one of the clowns that professed he was starting to decline. Whoops. All he did this season was throw 40 touchdowns, second most in the NFL and the second most of his career, and pass for over 4,600 yards, good for third best in the league. What makes this especially remarkable is the fact that he's on a brand new team, having to learn a new system and a new playbook. This is difficult to do just on its own, and was compounded with virtually no offseason and an abbreviated training camp because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Now obviously, playing in Bruce Arians' high-octane vertical passing offense helps, but ask Jameis Winston and his 30 interceptions how that worked out last season. I'll tell you how it worked out. It bought him a fifth of tequila and a bus ticket out of town. I'm starting to think maybe Tom isn't human. Is Tom Brady an alien from Mars disguised as a football player? We'll discuss on the next DSE. In all seriousness, the GOAT is entering his 10th Super Bowl game, seeking his 7th ring, and Sunday will mark his 3rd Super Bowl appearance since turning 40. Guys, there is not one other quarterback in NFL history that's even started in one Super Bowl at the age of 40 or older. And get this, since he came into the NFL at the start of the new millennium, Tom has started in a whopping 48% of the Super Bowls. And on an unrelated note, during that time, the Detroit Lions have played in all of 0% of the Super Bowls. And if your weekend hangover isn't already making you sick to your stomach, this will. Tom has 33 career postseason victories, more than 28 active franchises, and yes, your Lions are one of them. I could continue to suck on Tom's dick and go on with the numbers, but I won't, which prompts this million-dollar question. How does this man continue to defy the odds, light up the stat sheet, and win? I mean, he certainly isn't the best athlete in the world, he doesn't have the greatest arm strength, and he has almost no mobility. I'm not suggesting he isn't athletic, I'm just saying there are a lot of quarterbacks out there that were born more athletically gifted than Tom. But what separates him from the rest of the pack is pretty simple: how hard he works and how well he takes care of his body. Take this as an example. To get ready for the Super Bowl, Tom had his family move out of their Tampa home for 12 days, not to pound back beers and watch Old Debbie Does Dallas films, but to prepare for the game. He wants nothing, and I mean nothing, to get in the way of studying film and getting his body ready. And that includes preventing Giselle from keeping him up late at night, if you know what I mean. Super Bowl 55 is being played at Raymond James Stadium in Tampa Bay, making it virtually a home game for the Bucs, as they are the first team ever to play in a Super Bowl at their home stadium. I consider this an advantage, as they don't have to travel, get to sleep in their own beds, eat their own meals, and bang their own wives. Well, excluding Tom. Tom eats a predominantly plant-based diet, including lots of fruit and vegetables. He starts every day by waking up around 6 a.m. Fuck that. Loads up on electrolytes and nutrients, and pounds back 20 ounces of water. His suggestion is you should drink 1/2 of your body weight in fluid ounces every day. Well, Tom, I don't do that in water, but I do drink it in beer. He then works out 2 hours later and throughout the day eats a combination of healthy protein like fish, vegetables, whole grains, dark leafy greens, nuts, seeds, and protein shakes. If you have ever wondered to yourself why he doesn't age, it's not by accident. He outworks nearly everyone in the NFL. I'll close my blurb on Tom with this. I know people are fascinated with the whole Tom Brady-Bill Belichick debate. Let's make one thing clear. Now that they're not together, Bill does not want to see Tom win, and Tom doesn't want to see Bill win. He'll deny it publicly, but Tom wants nothing more than to win this game and stick it up Bill's ass. The two were great together, obviously, but every sports marriage has to come to an end. I still think Belichick is the best coach in the NFL. Andy Reid, however, is starting to have something to say about that. But the fact remains, his record without Tom Brady as his starting quarterback is 60-71. For those of you that claim Tom was a system quarterback in New England, you proved to be right, because Tom was the system. We're going to take a quick 60-second commercial break, but don't go anywhere, because when we come back, we'll talk Patrick Mahomes, discuss some fun prop bets, and of course, I'll select my Super Bowl 55 winner.
Hi, I'm Tom Brady. But I'm not out there winning Super Bowls or throwing 50 touchdowns. I'm in my room soaking it up with my hot supermodel wife. Yeah, she likes me, not because I'm good looking, but because I smell good. With Stetson. Stetson gives a man the confidence he needs to take on the world, whether on the field or in the office. Stetson gets it done. I mean, if you're not having sex with supermodels, try Stetson. I'm Tom Brady, and I got a huge dick. Stetson.
Welcome back to Detroit Sports Extreme. Here again is the voice of Detroit Sports, Johnny Bakerstone. Y'all right, let's continue our Super Bowl 55 banter with a spot on Patrick Mahomes. Patrick Mahomes. I spent the past 6 minutes blowing my load all over Tom Brady, but that doesn't mean Patrick Mahomes is chopped liver. And in fact, he has a chance to someday catch Tom in the GOAT rankings. A win Sunday would be another step in that direction. Should he win, Mahomes will become the first quarterback ever to win 2 Super Bowls and an MVP award at 25 years old. The KC QB ranked 4th in the NFL in touchdown passes this season with 38, and 2nd in yards with over 4,700. And it still felt like he didn't quite have it all together. In what would be a career year for most, Mahomes was seemingly in neutral for a decent part of the season, and that's a scary thought for the National Football League as we move forward in the 2020s. Aside from his ridiculous no-look passes and pinpoint deep ball accuracy, perhaps his biggest threat is his ability to stay the course no matter what the scoreboard says. Mahomes plays the exact same no matter what the situation is, and in fact, I think he plays even better from behind. He is cool, calm, and murder, and can score 3 touchdowns in a heartbeat. Just ask Kyle Shanahan and the San Francisco 49ers, as Mahomes engineered 3 fourth-quarter touchdowns in only 5 minutes to overcome a 10-point deficit in last year's Super Bowl. Should you bet Tampa and they take a double-digit lead, don't uncork the champagne and run to the bank, because the game will be far from over. Mahomes pairing with Andy Reid no doubt makes it a match made in heaven, as Reid is still known as perhaps the best offensive mind in the business at the ripe age of 62. It also doesn't hurt that he plays with the game's best tight end in Travis Kelce and fastest receiver in Tyreek Hill. They don't call him the Cheetah for nothing. Barring injury, you can expect the Chiefs to be competing for Super Bowls year in and year out for the next decade. And as long as his health permits, I don't see Reid stepping down anytime soon. So how exactly do you stop Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes? The Super Bowl 55 X Factor. Aside from Tom Brady and Patrick Mahomes, this game will be determined by which defensive line can get the most pressure on the opposing QB. During the season, the Chiefs forced pressure on almost 36% of opposing passing plays, second most in the NFL, and history suggests if you can put pressure on Tom Brady, he will make mistakes. That is obviously the case with almost any QB, but especially Tom, who is slower than a turtle and simply cannot evade a pass rush. On the flip side, the Bucs boast one of the best defensive lines in football, featuring edge rushers Jason Pierre-Paul and Shaquille Barrett, and also must put pressure on Patrick Mahomes to attempt to slow him down. Keep in mind the Chiefs are down 3 starting offensive linemen, and the protection they provide Mahomes, or lack thereof, will be worth monitoring throughout the entire ballgame. The team with the better pass rush that slows down the opposing QB should have the better chance at victory. That is obviously easier said than done. So which team will it be? Stay tuned for my pick at the end of the show. Extreme Sportsbook, sponsored by the Johnny Bakerstone Law Firm. Going through your third divorce like Johnny? Well, make some money off these bets to help cover the bill. One of the funnest things to do on Super Bowl Sunday is to place bets. And although I can't point you to a winning square, I can help guide you to some winning prop bets. So let's get it going. Coin toss. Tails never fails. Some say it's only a 50% proposition, but I say the hell with that. I'll admit heads is due, as 6 of the past 7 Super Bowl coin tosses have resulted in tails. But go tails or go home. Which Anheuser-Busch brand commercial will air first? Bud Light is the favorite here, and rightfully so, as they routinely release new commercials, especially at Super Bowl time. They love targeting that football demographic. The seltzers are gaining traction in the beer world, but I simply can't shy away from good old Bud Light. Who will score the game's first touchdown? Give me Rob Gronkowski. This is purely a hunch play, but I absolutely think he scores a touchdown in this game, and why not make it the game's first score, where a $100 bet would net you $1,800. If you're not feeling that adventurous, you could simply place a wager for an anytime Gronkowski touchdown that would still pay $225 on a $100 wager. Will Tony Romo correctly predict an offensive play? Is this even a question? Absolutely, especially considering the fact that Romo has had 2 weeks to study film for this game. How many commercials will show a person wearing a mask? The over-under here is 2.5, but you have to go over, don't you? I'd be shocked if less than 3 out of almost 100 Super Bowl commercials didn't feature someone wearing a mask. This is one I'll be watching very closely as I sip down my beverage watching commercials during timeouts. Color of liquid poured on the winning coach. Orange is the favorite, and pretty much every other Gatorade color is available, but give me red. After all, it is the primary color of both the Chiefs and Bucs. Chiefs -3 vs Bucks. I've bounced back and forth on this all week, and you don't feel good either way. Who wants to bet against Tom Brady in the Super Bowl? And who wants to bet against Patrick Mahomes? If you put a gun to my nuts, I'm taking Tom to win straight up for his 7th Super Bowl. The man is on a mission and seems destined to be hoisting the Lombardi Trophy at the end of the night. MVP! If the Bucks win, chances are Tom wins the MVP, which would be his 5th Super Bowl MVP. It would be a storybook ending for a fitting career. But win or lose, I think Tom Brady will return next season. That will conclude this Super Bowl edition of Detroit Sports Extreme. A special shout out goes to Calvin Johnson, who was just elected to the Pro Football Hall of Fame as he becomes the 3rd wide receiver in the last 25 years to make the Hall of Fame during his first year of eligibility. Take that, National Football League. Guys, eat some wings, drink some beers, and enjoy Super Bowl 55. We will return to our Detroit-branded content on our next show, but I'll also go over this game. We'll see you next time, Detroit. Cheers!